Hello.
Hello.
Hello, how's it going?
Hello, Anseridae.
Special guest Anseridae.
Special guest of the
Nice.
podcast, Anseridae
Yeah.
of the birds.
This is a pretty early time to do a podcast. I literally woke up 5 seconds ago. Stuff. Literally just
Dragged
woke
you out
up,
of bed.
literally had.
The
Didn't
meme,
have time to shower, didn't have time to eat anything. Literally just fucking woke up and went to my computer.
the
Don't-
meme returns.
Yeah.
So Anseri was supposed to be the guest last episode, but we forgot until we started recording.
You forgot.
I forgot. Well, you should have reminded me.
You just sort of went ahead with things.
Well,
I think last time I woke up and I saw you guys in the recording booth or like had the thingy or something. Or like the do not disturb thing when we're recording. Lamau.
Yeah, I'm very forgetful. So, Anseri, what's on your mind other than the fact that you just woke up?
Well, I guess I could talk about them fucking grocery prices, right? Like they're like so insanely high now and shit. And like fucking like god damn.
The tariffs
It's
were
like
put off. Did you hear, Anseri? They've
the tariffs
eased.
are
Yeah, Trump's backpedaled on the tariffs for another month.
Well, only Mexico's, as far as I know. Which is interesting. Don't know about Canada's, but the article I read said it was only Mexico that was being temporarily lifted.
So Canada's is going through.
Possibly.
Did you see that? Did you see that address from like one of the Canadian politician
The
guys?
premier
who's
of
like,
Ontario.
yeah, like one of like they said like Trump's going to war with the American people and shit, and I'm pretty sure that's pretty accurate and stuff.
I mean,
Greg Ford.
it's starting as an economic war on his own people, really.
Yeah, and
I
stuff.
heard a pretty interesting theory about that, actually. So, apparently the plan is to sink the American economy because that only affects, like, the lower income people. Whereas the incredibly rich, like the stupidly rich, are then going to be able, as companies start going into debt and liquidating and all of that, these incredibly rich people are going to be able to buy them up for pennies on the dollar.
Yeah, it's like 2008.
And enrich themselves.
It's an artificial version of the 2008 recession. Like they want to do it again. But
yeah, and like prices are like rising so fast for groceries and shit. But like comparatively, the prices of like guns and shit haven't been rising as fast. So now like groceries are now the same cost as like a gun and stuff. So and shit.
It's cheaper to buy a gun and rob your neighbors than it is to go to the store and buy groceries.
That explains the gunshots that I heard like a week ago, Lamau and stuff.
Last night I was out with my dad getting groceries and stuff to make dinner, and we spent like $60 just buying some cheese, like some burgers that would have normally cost like $10, and they were like $20. Like it was $60 for like a handful of groceries. Like it was in one bag for $60, and it was nothing crazy.
I heard that like at like one McDonald's or something, a fucking burger costs like $20.
Yeah,
for a burger.
If you want to like, because I have frequently gotten McDonald's in the past. Don't really get it anymore because of how expensive it is. But it's like for one meal, like for a burger, a drink, and a fries, like a normal meal, whatever. It's like $15 at a McDonald's.
Do you know how much a meal costs here for McDonald's?
Tell me.
Like, let's take a Big Mac medium meal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Basic standard Big Mac medium meal costs like 90 rand.
90 rand. That's like what?
Fuck Christ! Holy shit!
What's and sorry, what's 90 rand?
90 rand. I forgot what the conversion ratio is. Like,
Let me see.
Well, you said holy
There we
goddamn
go.
fuck. $4. That's what it used to be like
Yeah,
10 years ago.
if you spend like 100 rand in McDonald's, like that's a decent ass meal for yourself, and that's like $5.
Put in under the US dollars, put in $15. Yeah, that's how much it costs to get a fucking like quarter pounder at a McDonald's right now.
Yeah, quarter pounder medium meal, like with a shake, not a drink, a shake would cost like around 100 rand.
Yeah. Try 272. Oh my god. Ridiculous. Fucking ridiculous. It's pretty bad out there, and it's like entirely caused by like either ineptitude or like purposeful incompetence. It's yeah, did you see Warren Buffett pulled out all of his stocks?
Holy fuck! What?
Yeah, Warren Buffett is
pulled-
like,
Really?
yeah, he was like, guys, I'm gonna be pulling out all my shit. No, look over here. Like, hold on, let me pull this up. Warren
Isn't
Buffett,
he like
he's the stock
he's
guy.
94 years old? He's 94 years old, and he still has enough brain power, fucking brain cells left in his head to see what's coming.
Warren Buffett amasses more cash and sells more stock, but doesn't explain why. He's just pulling out all of his stocks.
Oh man, he's fucking just
And
building the
he's like,
doomsday bunker.
he's known
somehow.
as the guy who does the stocks. Like, he is the stock guy.
Yeah, but I mean, I can see a lot of super wealthy people offshoring their cash at this point,
Yeah, it's
investing in foreign currency.
yeah, it's
because
not
the-
a time
the
you want
U-
your money in USD.
Everything happening now hasn't really made the dollar internationally insolvent. Like, it's still one of the strongest currencies,
Well, the
but for
strongest.
how long?
Yeah,
I mean, that's not the strongest currency. What?
it is.
Are you on crack?
It
No.
is. What are you talking
The
about?
pound.
The pound? You mean the euro?
Have you heard that? Have you heard
Not the
about like how
pound.
the fucking like what's it called? I think today or something we fucking like wiped out all the gains from the stock market over like the past year or so or something. Like already.
I don't know about that,
I
but I
think
do know that the stock market has fallen by like 600 points. You know, the
Excuse
pound.
me, Riley, but are you buying into American propaganda that you have the strongest currency in the world?
No,
Fucking
but check the
Christ.
euro. Probably in the euro.
Also stronger
Yeah,
than the US
yeah,
dollar.
I'll accept that the euro is stronger, but I don't expect that the pound is stronger. That's fake news. Pushed by Big London. Pound is a fake
Pound has
currency.
always been the strongest currency.
Yeah, but like London's a fake.
Yeah.
England is a fake country. London is the only thing
Lon-
in England that actually has economic
Yeah,
productivity.
London. Yeah. The reason why London has like the fucking strongest currency in the world is because it's literally just a money laundering hole.
It
and
is just a
stuff.
bank city. It is the city that is a bank.
Yeah, I mean,
The British pound. That's what you're looking for.
so if we compare it to like a real place instead of bank land, like New Zealand or Australia, how's their currency doing?
I don't really
mean,
care about Australia. I think it's the Australian dollar. Is that what it is?
New Zealand dollar. It's not doing too bad. AUD is Australian dollar. Also doing a bit better than the New Zealand dollar.
The New Zealand. Oh, New Zealand, mate. New Zealand.
What we got?
Compared to the ruble, the rand.
That's rough.
That
That's kinda rough.
that is pretty rough.
God damn.
You know what I
To be
don't.
fair, it was at one point over 20.
That is true. In the past couple months, no, in the past month alone. Hold on, go back to year. Yeah, it's
It's getting better.
yeah.
Mostly because your country is in fucking free fall.
I don't understand this about non-Americans. Why do you write your numbers like that? Why do you have the comma there?
18 rand 16 cents.
Yeah, but like, why is it a comma and why do you put the periods after every 3 digits?
What?
Do you not know this? Hold on.
After what?
I need to show. So hold on, let me pull up a notepad actually. So in America, we write numbers like the. Oh, I'll do you. So in South Africa, say we're writing 100,000, right? You write it like this
Yes.
with like a comma here. In America, we write it like this. Because it's like
Well, I mean,
this is like it's like written like a word. Like this is the break in it, like a 100,000, and then you keep going,
yeah, but
and then it's
why?
the end. Like it's a
I
period.
have a question for you, Americans. Then, why do you say shit like 1200?
I don't
You know
understand that either. I
how
fucking
write,
hate 1200.
you know how I write currency? I literally just write it out as one big blob. I counted it
Like
as
this.
like cents,
Like that.
individual cents as integers, because that's how you program in currency, Lamau. Or that's how you count currency as a programmer and shit when you're writing code, Lamau.
Yeah, that's
I do that
code,
more
man.
often than the fucking actually writing in currency.
But you get my point with like 1200. Like
Yeah,
it's
no, that shit sucks.
1200.
Yeah.
It's
1,000.
1200. It's
1,200.
like,
Yeah. Like when yeah, 12 yeah, like oh, 1,200. No, it's 1,200.
1,200.
Yeah.
How much is
Well,
that in
because it's because
cents?
people typically will do that. They'll be like, "Oh, 1,200." Because typically whenever it's in the thousands, people don't put an abbreviation there, so it's 1,200.
Nice.
But I like to call it 1,200 because things like what shorthand for things like that. Also, same with terms like half past like 12 or something like that, or like quarter to 12. So like words like those. I don't like saying terms like that because
Just use
puts more
military
thought.
times. That's
It
less
puts more thought
confusing
into
because
what I do.
with military time, like you don't get confused by the fucking AM PM switch.
Yeah, but that never
When like
confuses
12
me.
o'clock runs. That always confuses me.
you'd be shocked how few people understand military time. Like maybe more so in the US people understand it because you have the giant military industrial complex and everybody knows somebody who's in the military. But in like foreign, like as far as I can tell in South Africa, they're just people who
David,
For
don't.
me, it's like it's actually like easier because like an hour past 12, that's like 13 o'clock and shit. Then right. And in
Yeah.
school, we used like military time because like I had a 3DS and shit, and that's only on military time and stuff. So
Oh
it's
yeah,
very
it
easy
is.
to figure out what time it is.
It's
And
not that
stuff.
it's not that I don't find military time easy to understand. It's just that like I have no issue with AM PM, and that's how most people talk. So I just use AM PM. Though David uses military time, and that's like kind of the only person I know in my interpersonal life who uses it.
Yeah. It's like converting like the right now time in the US to South Africa time, I guess. Well, I mean, like on the
Yeah,
West Coast. It's like minus 11 hours. Oh, it's just like subtract 1 and then flip the sign, kind of. Lamau. For
true,
military
true.
time, it's like subtract like 12 and flip the sign, or like subtract like 2 and flip the sign, I guess, or something.
God, American
Yeah,
Or
time
whatever
zones
the
some,
make no
shit was
sense.
that I forgot.
we're coming at you from 3 different time zones, none of which are touching,
True. This is
and one
true.
of which can't be displayed on this map.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
you could pull it up in a tiny window next to it.
So I'm on the West Coast, Riley's on the East Coast, and then Jade's in South Africa.
Whatever
So
time zone that name is.
SAST.
SAST.
Shasta.
Interesting. So you're in the same time zone as like Eastern Europe minus Belarus and like Central
Same
Africa.
time zone as Lesotho.
Yeah, I mean it's in the same country. It's like in the country.
Alright. Lesotho got a shout out from the president.
Yes, yes. He was
Lesotho.
he was
Got me
like
saying it funny.
he was like we sent condoms to Lesotho. I think he said it correctly actually. I think he said Lesotho.
No, I don't
No,
think so.
I remember hearing it, and I don't know, maybe it's just my brain being silly. I don't know. It'd be really funny if he said it correctly. Oh, wait a fucking second. Zoom in. Are you able to like hit Control plus in? Like, look at Ukraine's borders. They don't recognize. Look at Donetsk is white for some fucking reason in Ukraine.
What the fuck?
What the fuck?
They got the line and the white on this side. I think it's because it's an active war zone.
Maybe that's just weird.
Oh my god.
That's weird.
It seems strange. SAST is kind of strange to me now looking at it because, like, you'd imagine, like, a lot
Yeah.
of these places.
I thought you
You
were
know,
in the same time
crossover.
zone as Germany, but you're not.
No, I think we're like an hour or two.
I think you're an hour
Okay.
ahead of Germany.
Shout out to that random country in the middle of the line there that's just white instead of the time zone time, Lamau.
There's several. Oh, Belarus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that Belarus?
The one in Europe, yeah, it is. North of Ukraine, south of Lithuania. This is ridiculous, Jade. This is ridiculous.
Wow, look at that fucking
You're
ad
zooming in on the
space,
eds, yeah.
Non-existent ads because
Because ad blocker.
reasons. Shut up.
Well, in lighter news, let's talk about some game development and
I would love
programming
to.
and shit.
Would love to.
Yeah.
Really
So,
controlling this
Jade,
episode.
how have you been doing with your programming lessons so far, or like your thing and stuff? How's that been going?
I've been having, honestly, an absolute blast learning all this stuff. Like, I've been having tons of fun. My only concern is kind of twofold. Number one, am I learning enough, quick enough? And am I annoying the person that's teaching me by not learning quick enough?
No, you're not like annoying me at all. In fact, it's pretty fun to like teach you and stuff. But for the thing about like enough, there's no such thing as learning enough programming because like fucking I've been doing it for years and like you haven't even started with like data science, program architecture and design patterns, refactoring. Like you're just learning the basics for now. Like you haven't even touched the AI stuff or like automating like video games and shit or like even like game dev. Like and then after that we'll have to like teach you some game design principles, which there's like fucking years worth of material that we have to get through. But for now, we're just gonna speed run through getting something up on your GitHub so you can get like a programming job, so that your finances are like met and stuff.
Yeah, that would go a long way.
I would like to join you guys. I've said it before. I didn't get a chance to join last night because I was busy and stuff. But I'm probably gonna be busy again tonight. But next time you guys are coding and I'm available, I really would like to join.
We're
and
probably
stuff.
gonna do a coding session after the podcast recording. Probably.
Yeah, I would need
Yeah.
to edit and do the thumbnail and stuff.
Yeah.
So
Because there's a what's 4.5 hour video that we've been getting through, and I'm 2 hours in. I minimum, just bare minimum, I want to finish that tonight.
Yeah. Also, we're gonna like, regardless of like how much you learn by the end of the month, like you should probably have something up on your GitHub just to
Yes,
like show your
definitely.
progress. Don't make the mistake I did of like, oh, if I had just spend a few more weeks learning some more things, I could make a way better thing to show on my GitHub, and then you end up spending like fucking 10 years with like nothing to show other people except a graveyard of like dead projects in your like folders or like software graveyard, Lamau.
software graveyard.
Cemetery.
Software
Software
graveyard.
cemetery, as they say, Lamau.
I like the visual of that. Here lies the calculator I made that made funny noises when you made an equation.
Instead of
Here's the-
gravestones, it's ET cartridges.
Yeah. Here lies the fucking bot that I made that completely automates every single task required to play through fucking Realms Grinder and shit. And the way it works, it like looks through it takes a screenshot of the page and looks for the exact blue shade of pixel in the mana bar at like the bottom of it and checks if that's blue. And then in that like then it like fucking goes through all of the spell list and like finds the one that I want, and like it casts that in like specific sequence and shit. And thingy.
Uh,
Lamau.
I
The
want.
game development is a scary level.
It's
Hmm.
really intimidating. I watched it like a fucking 3 hour long video on a game dev of Mario 64 of like of how like the collision works for like floor, walls, ceilings, and out of bounds, and how invisible walls pop out of the game because of how it's made. And I'm like, damn, this shit is like there's so many. He's like explaining like how the fucking Mario movement works, how it updates and gravity and like the checks. And I'm like, damn, no wonder this shit takes like hundreds of people over the course of like years.
Have you seen the video where like some fucking guy like did a math thingy and like they made like the sine wave function take like a fourth of how much compute power and stuff by like doing a shit ton of math and study and stuff.
Well, I have not
Wow.
seen that.
They like folded the sine wave in like half and stuff essentially.
I barely understand like sine waves, cosine, tangent. I barely understand any of that. I know the
That's
names.
just regular old trigonometry.
Yeah, and I
you
like
know?
barely passed that lesson in high school.
You had trigonometry in high school? I
It
didn't
was
have
it
any
was
math
it
in
was
high
it was incorporated with my just general algebra 2, or not algebra 2, pre-calculus. I'm stupid. Pre-calculus.
You know what math I had in high school? Fuck all, because instead of teaching math or anything, they just fucking like drove you out to fucking a failing restaurant and made you work there all day for
What
like
the
nothing.
fuck?
'Cause that was my yeah. But fucking high school was like non-existent.
Did you
It's a
have? Was it one of
shithole.
those? What is it? One of those high schools where it's like trailers that are just in a park, like
It
shipping
was in an
containers?
abandoned mall, actually.
Oh,
Yeah, that's like pretty
isn't part
common.
of your curriculum in South Africa math? There's two levels. There's mathematics, like you know, and then there's math literacy,
We don't have
which
that.
is like math literacy is like doing word sums up until like 12th grade.
So
But
Yeah, we don't got
it's
that.
requirement. You have to take one of them. Isn't that a standard in the US?
In the U.S.,
So what we
you continue.
Yeah, so what we have is called the No Child Left Behind in quotes grant, which is when which Bush was it? I always forget
It was George
I always
W.
mix up Jeb and George. Oh yeah,
W.
George.
Jeb was
So,
never president.
yeah. So George W. They fucking cut all the funding for schools and focused only on reading comprehension and pretty much nothing else.
Yeah, there's a lot of like I remember when I was growing up in the early 2000s, in the mid 2000s stuff. There would always be checks to make sure that every kid is reading at proper reading levels. There was such an emphasis on reading, but math had like no focus at all. It was all
Yep.
about reading. But in
And
America,
only reading.
George
George W. Bush is the reason my elementary school I went to, only had like one book per classroom and stuff, and we all had to share it between each other. And shit.
hope it was like Clifford the
Because of
Big Red
fucking
Dog
funding cuts.
goes to school or some shit. So in America, the states are what control like the curriculums. So I can't speak with every state, but in New Jersey, the math that was required, it was basically just like normal math courses throughout kindergarten to like 8th grade, and once you got into high school, there was algebra 1 and 2, and then a geometry class, and then optionally you were able to take a pre-calc or calculus. So like what you only need to take 3 years of math in high school, at least in New Jersey, or at least in my school. I don't know if it's like that everywhere, but so I mean, I took all 4 years of math in high school, but like, yeah, they don't really care about
took
math.
an entire presidential term of math, Lamau.
Yeah, high school is a whole presidential term. Well, it wasn't really a whole presidential term because I was in there during an election midway through my time.
Who was president at the time?
I went in under Trump and got out under Biden.
What? Trump and Biden?
It was Trump and Biden.
Okay.
That's the
Okay.
Trump's first term and Biden.
Wait,
Who's Robert Kennedy again?
That's
the one with the robot voice.
the health secretary or health and human services guy.
Who?
Robert F. Kennedy. He's the guy who's anti-vax. He's appointed to
Oh,
the.
right, yeah.
He's
the
like he
fucking guy with
talks
the
like
brainworm
that.
grenade
He
and
talks
all
like
that.
this.
Right, yeah. Fucking the plague horseman of the apocalypse. That's what I
Yeah.
was thinking of him.
Yeah, the plague horseman of the apocalypse.
And then you have
He is
his.
literally.
And then you have his dad, RFK Senior, Bobby Kennedy from the '60s, who ran for president in '68 and got shot.
He got shot through the head, and then his son got
No.
brainworms.
No, he got shot in the gut. He got shot in the gut.
Wait, who was the one that got shot in the head?
John F. Kennedy, RFK's uncle.
Oh, okay.
Johnny Kennedy.
RFK Jr.'s uncle. The original RFK's brother. What were you going to say, Jade, before we got cut off?
I was just very curious about like literacy rates, but I'm not finding a good source here that shows.
I'd assume that 90% of the country is literate. But in terms of like the varying levels of literacy, I'm sure like half the country is below an adequate reading level. Maybe more.
A lot of yeah, that's for reading, but how much of the country is internet literate? Like, how much of them even have access to this?
So according to one thing I'm finding, it says that 79% of US adults are literate, while 21% are illiterate.
But what is
Apparently, I'm fucking illiterate.
What does it qualify as illiterate? Is it like below a reading, like below a standard, or full on they cannot read? Like, I would like to know what they consider illiterate. Because 21% is shocking.
So the town I grew up in, literally like fucking almost nobody used the internet there, Lamau. Even like when I was like in my 20s or something. Like I asked my therapist if they use the internet. Apparently they've never used the internet at all. They didn't know that you could talk to other people on the internet as well. So that was funny. Lamau.
All right, what do we got here, Jane?
Data point.
Well, that reminds me, we're gonna have to go over data science in our programming lectures, I guess, at some point.
Stop scrolling. Stop scrolling.
That's important to know.
Stop scrolling. Adults classified as below level 1 may be considered functionally illiterate in English, unable to successfully determine meaning in sentences, read relatively short text to locate a single place. Okay, so that's what I mean by the below the certain standard. So if you click on the graph again.
Which one?
The top graph, that one. So that 8.2 are people who are functionally, like they're not functionally, they are literally illiterate. Like they can't read. That next 8.4 are people who read a sentence and cannot. Like they have no reading comprehension. They're functionally illiterate because when they are reading, they're not comprehending anything they're reading. They're not understanding it. Mm-hmm. I'm sure that 4%. That 4% is honestly a majority, like English second language people. I'm gonna guess. And that 4.1%.
The people who did the best in English, in my personal experience in South Africa, were the people who were doing it as a second language.
Yeah, but I'm talking about people who are like fresh immigrants being polled for this and haven't had a chance to really learn it yet. Level 1 is like a fucking high school, like a middle school reading level. I'm assuming. Wow. I couldn't find. I was reading quickly, trying to make sure we don't harbor on this for too long. Illiterate. Yeah, but I'm assuming that level 2 is like a high school reading level because it's most of the population, it seems, or second most amount. And then I'm assuming like level 3, maybe level 2 is like a lower high school, level 3 is like a higher high school, level 4 and 5, 4 being like a college reading level, and then 5 being like an academic learned person, and it's so small that they probably don't put it on there. But like, it seems that most of the country is at like a high school reading level. I'm assuming. I haven't actually like read through the thing.
That's fucking piss poor.
It is kind of piss poor. I'm just assuming. Can you click off of the thing so I could quickly try to see what they consider to be the different levels? 4 and 5 U.S. adults have English literacy sufficient to complete tasks that require comparing and contrasting information, paraphrasing, making lower level inferences. Literacy skills at 2 or above In contrast, 1 in 5 adults has difficulty completing these tasks. I wish they broke down what they mean by these, but it seems that level 2 and above is like you're able to form ideas and stuff and like piece together what's being said. Like there's like critical thinking involved. So most of the country has critical thinking what they're reading, but there's 1 in 5 don't. So
Holy fuck.
I'm just assuming
That's
what those
really
levels
bizarre.
are.
Those are some grim ratios, Lamau.
And how about this?
Holy shit.
Yeah, in the breakdown, low literacy.
I would expect like 1 in 500,000, but
Yeah,
like holy fuck,
34% being Hispanic, born outside of the U.S. is exactly what I was type of referring to. Like a large portion of it is people who are born out of the U.S. and coming here. Though the white percentage there is absolutely in the deep South and shit, where there's like in like Midwest and stuff, where there's a lot of lack of funding for schools. Great Plains regions like Iowa and shit.
You know what? Just trust the education department, right? That's the answer.
Yeah, we need to. We see
Jesus.
numbers like these, and then we need to go. Oh, I know our solution. We need to just abolish the Department of Education. That's exactly what we need. We're gonna get into a fucking dark age. I'm to prepare for any possible scenario, I'm making sure that like my car is always full of gas and that I have like food in my house and that like
That reminds me,
anything that I
I've been
want to have, I'm gonna have.
Yeah, I've been meaning to pull up a map of where the nearest fucking nuclear bunkers are, just in case. You
Those
know?
probably aren't like around anymore. They probably are all
Your neighbor's
decommissioned.
backyard.
Yeah, jump into the neighbor's basement.
It's all survivalists now, isn't it?
Yeah, they don't really make
nearest
like every like nuclear
emergency
bunker is like they're not like they were never really free to access. You always had to pay to have an access to them, but most of them were private, like in your own home type of thing. Like you build a storm shelter in the backyard, but now it's
well,
concrete.
I can't afford to make my own like fucking storm
Let's
shelter.
be real.
So...
If nukes fall, you're dead. Like there's no surviving it. There is no surviving nukes. You can survive like anything short of a nuclear warfare, but when the nukes start flying, it's done. The world is over. So there's really no point in looking for a nuclear shelter. But if you gotta get a storm shelter and stock it with some beans just in case like the Civil War breaks out, then yeah, you can live that.
On the bright side, like it's less likely that nukes will start falling because like America currently doesn't have access to their nukes and stuff.
Yeah, because we fired half the Department of Energy workers, and the Department of Energy is who maintains the nukes. I genuinely don't think Elon knew that the Department of Energy takes care of the nukes. When he fired those people, I don't think he knew that. I'm gonna be real. That's my guess. Because they hired a bunch of them.
That fucking guy doesn't even know the country. He doesn't even know where the country he lived in for like most of his life is geographically, literally. Like he doesn't know where fucking Mozambique. Like he doesn't know like that it's neighbors with fucking what was it, Mozambique?
Mozambique's a neighbor.
Yeah. He mistook fucking Mozambique for like fucking
When was this?
Saudi Arabia or something.
When was this?
When he fucking said that we sent condoms to ISIS or some shit.
Right. I know what you're talking about. This was the in Gaza thing. So I think in Mozambique or Madagascar, somewhere there's an actual like place called In Gaza. INGAZA. And there was obviously condoms being sent. Like in Southern Africa, we're still dealing with the HIV epidemic. We're still actually like trying to work with and manage that. So
it's not even in Gaza. There's just a province in Mozambique called Gaza.
Okay. Well, either way, yes. So this is where the condoms were going, and they said they were going to ISIS, which ISIS is not in Southern Africa.
No, ISIS literally stands for the Islamic State of Iraq and Syria.
Hamas is what I meant.
Hamas.
It's not in fucking Southern Africa. Either way, neither of them are here.
Yeah.
Got a population of 1.5 million people.
That motherfucker should know this shit. He was literally fucking living in this goddamn country.
It's the province
South
that's
Africa
also
for
on the border of South Africa too, which is really
Dude,
funny.
what the fuck has he
It-
been smoking
It's
for
on
so
the border
long
of
that
the
he's
Limpopo
got
River.
brainworms? How the fuck does he not know this? Like,
I mean, this,
fucking, I
this
think
takes me back to all the way back when I think there was something about George Bush not being able to point at Iraq on a map or something,
Yeah,
like a
what
world
the
map,
fuck?
and he
Yeah.
couldn't point out Iraq, even though he was waging war there.
yeah. It's
He
a
just fucking
trend.
wildly gestures at a globe and says, like, yeah, we're at war with something vaguely around this area.
Something
Lamar.
brown over here. Some I don't know what it is. It's something in Iraq or something. Or I don't know. There's people over there. We're bombing them. I don't know. I remember a classic like bit to make fun of Americans on like TV was like people on the street interviews was like a map, and it's like, can you find London on this map for us? And it's like, I think it's here, and she's pointing at like Japan.
What the fuck?
that's like a classic
both
genre.
the UK and Japan are islands.
Yeah, it's like it's a genre of like making fun of Americans. It doesn't really exist anymore, mostly because of that George Bush not knowing where Iraq is type shit. Where it's like,
Yeah.
do you know where Iran is? And he points, and it's like, I think it's here, and it's like fucking India, and it's like, well, you're close enough, sir, but you're wrong. That's a different place.
I want to go back to like this is just how bad things have gotten now. Is that I would rather go back to the days of George Bush, where he was known
Easy.
for saying shit like, I believe that fish and people can live together in harmony.
Dan Quayle level statement.
Like,
We need Dan
we can
Quayle.
go back to that. Like, what the fuck is happening?
It's insane that like I feel like a bit of like I look back at like Perfect Circle, right? Or like System of a Down, like bands who were in the 2000s being anti-Bush and being like, Bush fucking, he's a dictator, he's brain drain, education, indoctrination, and it's like, you guys were
You know, as someone who
not
lives
prepared
in
for
America
this.
and has been a victim of the Bush administration, especially like with their like elementary school and high school years and shit, I think I have a pretty big bone to pick with him, as well as like most Americans and shit.
God. And now it's all going to be private Nazi education, right?
Yeah, because we have PragerU
You
in schools.
Do you really think that fucking Nazis can afford education? It's
Well,
just
no, it's
propaganda instead of education, Lamau.
Oh yeah.
PragerU in schools. I want to see what states have PragerU in schools.
It should be illegal to have PragerU in schools.
The
It's just
fact
like
that they've gotten as big as they have.
it's just fucking brain rot. That's all they fucking put out is brain rot.
From the
And
Washington
that's what
Times
they're
here.
replacing. They're replacing education with all this fucking brain rot. Goddamn.
Okay.
I'll admit, I'm surprised I saw there on that map. I am surprised by seeing New Hampshire.
New Hampshire is a fucking Nazi state in disguise.
Really?
Yes. It absolutely is. New Hampshire is like full of fucking libertarians and like psycho racist fucks. It's like Idaho of the East.
That's where
One of my
John
sisters.
Bernie's from
who,
Vermont.
Like,
John Irving.
so like
John Irving.
Like one of my sisters who wanted to be like a trad wife, they moved to New Hampshire and now they farm chickens.
Yeah,
stuff.
it's like a very like fucked up state. Anyway, I can only find this here. So
I watched
Idaho.
a whole video on trad wives.
They're very weird.
I posted it in the politics channel. It's
Yeah.
so the trad wives, apparently it's two things. It's a way to get women into the Nazi pipeline,
Yeah.
the right wing pipeline, and the other thing is it's a kink. It's a kink, and it's a way to get women into the Nazi pipeline.
So yeah, my sister's like the kind of trad wife who's like fucking the what's it called? Like an Orthodox Russian Christian version of the trad wife, I guess.
Wow.
So
That's hilarious. So
Fucking
to back up what I said earlier, on the Wikipedia article for politics of New Hampshire, there's a whole section for the libertarian tendencies. So I'm not like we're not making this up. Like it's a noted thing. The state motto. What the fuck's happened with Wikipedia recently? The state motto is "Live free or die."
Yeah, live free or die hard.
Is that type? Is that type of
She
culture
does.
up
My
there?
sister. Oh, by the way, did you know it's actually optional to use seatbelts
Yes.
in New Hampshire?
Yes, because it's a libertarian state. It is a fucking weird state.
I don't think libertarians know what liberty means.
They just think it's
Oh yeah,
Like
it's your
functionally,
undeclared.
everything I hear about libertarians. Because remember,
we also got like robbed by the time we got back from New Hampshire as well, visiting and stuff, kind of. So what happened was like, so my sister's husband, they're a beekeeper who's also a construction worker, and like they took my brother David in on like a job to like work for them, I guess, and stuff, because like David needed to like stay with them for like a couple days or something. Like they wanted like work experience and stuff. So they like stay with them for like a few weeks and stuff. Then the coronavirus like hit or something. You're like, he got COVID, right? So he couldn't go on the plane to come back. But then like the fucking like people who are landlord, right? They demanded all of the money that David made from going to New Hampshire, because apparently, because like if you live under like if you like rent and shit, apparently the landlord thinks that they're entitled to like all of somebody else's money and shit, even though they weren't fucking living there at the time and shit, and then like they couldn't come back, right? Because
That's
of
pretty fucking shitty.
COVID and shit.
But the landlord things, the rights that landlords have in the US is wild.
Yeah, landlords have way too much.
Hey,
rights.
on the bright side, guns are fucking
no. We cannot advocate or like hint at any sort of relation between those two topics.
God damn.
Motherfucker.
But yeah, libertarians.
This goes back many, many years, right? But which of you actually heard of or actually watched Bowling for Columbine?
I have not.
So Bowling for Columbine was a documentary by Michael Moore.
Yes, Michael. Yes, I know what you're talking about then. Yeah.
Which was basically about the fact that it was so incredibly easy for American citizens to get guns. And obviously some of the things have changed since that documentary's come out, but he pointed out things like, oh, if you go to this particular bank and you open up this specific bank account, you get a gun. Like, it was a promotion. You get a gun. Like,
yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah. Especially, it's toned down a lot more over the years, but yeah, at the time that documentary came out, that was absolutely the case. It's just guns left and right, and now it's definitely still the case. But like there's more consciousness over it. But it's still extremely easy to get a gun.
Did you hear about like fucking like guns are now being like pushed as like this investor opportunity or something, like, oh, you're pulling out of the stock market, invest in guns or something.
Makes
like when I
sense.
looked up like price of guns.
I can absolutely see it happening. I haven't heard it myself because I mean I'm following so much of this shit, but I can absolutely see that happening because the stock value of guns is going to go up now because it's not just the right. The people who are left leaning are becoming more scared. I know it was a few months ago now, but I saw an article or piece about how left-wing groups are now arming themselves because they're afraid that the right wing is going to actually just come and get them someday. Like, it's no longer... Like, a lot of the right wing does that fear-mongering where they're, you know, you see it in tradwife content a lot as well, like prepare for the civil war, the coming civil war, and all of that. And the left is realizing, or certain groups on the left are realizing that if they don't prepare, what they're essentially doing is going unprepared into what the right is pushing for.
Right. Right.
Also, if you just Google guns as an investment or something, like you'll get a bunch of articles saying, "Hey, you get some collector's guns; they'll rise in value and shit." Lamau, for some
Collector's
reason.
guns are an interesting thing because, like, the point of a gun is its utility. Like, it's a gun, you shoot it.
Yeah.
But like a lot of collector's guns are just showpieces, and people will buy them,
Mhm.
not realizing that they're kind of just showpieces. So then you have like these like it's a part of that like this fake aesthetic that you see a lot of like right wing influencers use, like to kind of piggy off of like what Jade was saying about people talk about an upcoming civil war. It's a part of this like fake aesthetic of like a true hard blooded American. You see it a lot
Mhm.
with like Ben Shapiro or Tucker Carlson, where they'll have like a set that they're on and it's like a fake log cabin and they're in like jeans and work boots and shit. Or like Steven Crowder with his gun holsters.
Mhm.
It's like you have this big fancy gun, but it's like an ornament. It's like a collector's gun, and it's like, look at I mean business. I got my engraving, like the fucking Metal Gear Solid quote. Engravings give no tactical advantage whatsoever. Like it's like that type of shit where it's like, here's my big fancy gun and my big old holster for it, and my work boots and my log cabin on a sound stage, and it's like
Mhm.
it's full of
I
larpers.
mean,
Everyone's
it's
I
larpers.
like how. Yeah. So I like how I went on here to talk about game design and game development, and then we got sidetracked talking about fucking current events, Lamau,
Well, you
as
brought it
well.
up.
this is how it goes. The podcast can go
Yeah.
in many ways.
We can pivot back.
So what's your favorite like dungeon design? I guess Jade and stuff.
Oh, I guess I don't get to answer this one.
Oh man, you can chime in if you have a favorite dungeon design or like dungeon philosophy or something for like
In
dungeons in video.
theory, in theory, what Skyrim did with dungeons is interesting, but their execution is so incredibly poor. And what I mean specifically is that once you complete a dungeon in Skyrim, there's a back exit to almost all of them.
Yeah,
I,
I like that a lot.
mhm. I like the verticality of the Morrowind dungeons. Honestly, they're like some of the coolest ones I've seen.
I think those get
That
carried
Even
is
when
over
you
into
got
true.
that,
Skyrim a lot too. Like, there's a lot of dungeons in Skyrim that I remember, like at least in the main story, I remember, uh, like a lot of verticality to it. In
You'd
was
be
it?
surprised, not so much, eh?
yeah, yeah. So
Like
Skyrim
Morrowind has
does,
far
yeah,
more
Oh, Morrowind obviously
verticality
has
in
more.
it.
yeah. Morrowind's got those flying spells and shit, right? So they have a lot more
Because there was
leeway to
that
get away with them.
Daedric Shrine. Was it a Daedric Shrine that we
Yeah,
went
yeah, yeah.
into?
Where you got that
Where,
bow.
yeah, you literally couldn't get to the top of it without some kind of jump or levitate spells
Oh, really?
because the very design of the dungeon itself, the Daedric Shrine, as it were,
Mhm.
it told a story. It also has great environmental storytelling in Morrowind, which is
Mhm.
sorely lacking in Skyrim. But essentially, you could see the tale of this poor bowman who had tried to escape but run out of ways to do so once he had gotten up onto one of the ledges, and he just sort of died there while everything below, you know, that was trying to kill him couldn't get to him either.
I see.
Mhm.
Unfortunate for him. Uh, I'd like to
So
pitch in
yeah.
my favorite type of dungeon design. It's how Zelda does their dungeons. I really
Ooh.
like how, like, in a lot of most Zelda dungeons will have it so that you go into the dungeon with either just gear from previous dungeons or like no gear, like just, you're going in solving some puzzles and you see like hints of solutions to puzzles that you don't have an item to solve, and as you go through the dungeon you see more of them until you beat like a mini boss where you get your item, and then you're able to like open up shortcuts with it. You're able to like, the entire dungeon becomes like a bunch of, it loops in on itself a lot, and you're able to solve the puzzles that you were seeing earlier with the new item, and then the boss relies on that item, like that type of like centering it around a specific one specific kind of gameplay for like a dungeon It's also
Making
kind of
them
like
more
like a level.
thematic.
Yeah, like like tying in the
Mhm.
gameplay to the design, level design. It's also what I like to value in like a lot of good like levels in like games with like that use a level system and stuff, where it's like, now this mission we're gonna use this weapon, and it like in Titanfall 2 there's a lot of that stuff too, like that type of game design where it really like ties in the toys you get to work with into the level design, plus interconnectivity like
That's
Dark Souls type stuff. I love
Speaking
that
of
a lot.
interconnectivity, I remember watching this video on dungeons recently where like one of the comments said like they went into this dungeon in I think Ultima or like one of those types of games where they went in and they got to the bottom of it, and when they went back out they were in another continent and stuff because like they didn't know at the time, but like they got lost in the dungeon, and the bottom floor of all the dungeons there are actually interconnected, sort of
Oh, like the
like the eight
subways
major.
in Fallout 3.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah,
I
that's
think.
pretty cool. I love that type of stuff.
It's
Mhm.
sort of like I'm gonna bring it up because I can, but the sort of caverns level of Dwarf Fortress, in theory, across the world map, they are in theory connected as well. Like not just the
Mhm.
overworld, but there is an underworld sort of
That's really cool.
Mhm.
like
And it
interconnectedness.
makes sense for like that type of world, all the dwarves and shit building their fortresses up, and they would connect them underground because that's how they like to travel.
I like that kind of design where like you could get lost in a dungeon and end up somewhere entirely different, or like you could open up a shortcut in a dungeon. So like if you're going through like another region back and forth, it might be worth it to go through like a dungeon and stuff. That'd be cool.
Yeah, where it's just like,
Stuff.
because the way I normally approach dungeons in games is that I take my time with them. I make sure I go into each door and like clear each room and stuff. Make sure I don't miss anything. Obviously, I do miss things in some games because I'm not perfect. I get turned around. But like whenever I'm exploring something, like I mentioned the subways in Fallout 3, where it's like this massive, sprawling, interconnected dungeon that can take you anywhere you want on the map, essentially, and you can get spit out anywhere on that map.
I have
It's a really
major
cool.
issue. I have major issue with the subways in Fallout 3.
I mean, I'm not gonna say they're perfect. I just like the concept of them,
They're
and
awful.
I like the concept of them, and I like
They
some
all
segments
look
of
the
them.
fucking same. They're
That
the
is the issue with them.
laziest
They're not lazy. It's
design.
2007. It's
What do you mean
2007.
2007?
It's 2007, and it's an ambitious thing. It's ambitious, and it's 2007. They were
When did
working with what they
Minecraft
could.
come out?
2011 officially came out
Yeah,
in
yeah, yeah.
2011,
Well,
and also it's
what
a
about the
block
beta?
game. Beta was like 2008 or something, 2009. It's a
Yeah.
block game also. It's working with a lot less. It's a block game with like very minimal stuff at launch.
The thing is that you're saying, oh, it was 2007, but dungeons have existed in games since the fucking like 80s.
Yeah, but like we're
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
the dungeon, the actual layout of them,
Design
like the
philosophy.
design of
I
philosophy
don't.
of them is a different. It's new. Like the actual
No,
like
it's not.
visuals of them.
Have you played that game Metro?
Yeah, I've played Metro, and Metro also came out after Fallout 3. Metro is actually a good shout out here to give. I love Metro.
Metro was released. Let's see. 2005.
Fuck! No, that's the book. The book. That's the book.
That's the
What
book.
about
It's based on a book
Stalker?
series. Stalker was like
Have you
2011
seen
or some
Stalker?
shit.
Yeah, the game was 2010.
I sneezed.
The game was 2010.
Yeah, the book was 2005. Because it's like Witcher,
You
where it's
know
based on a
what's
book series.
you know what's like game or type of game that I can't really play and stuff?
What's that?
Elden Ring, because it's like a bunch of unique items and a bunch of shit to find. So I always feel like compelled to do like a Navy search pattern or something, and like search every square inch of the map in case like find
Yeah,
something,
Elden Ring you
or
can't
in
do that
case I
with.
miss something. Yeah. So in Elden Ring, I've been doing that for since it came out, and so far I've only searched through Limgrave, and I've done a full pass of like Caelid so far. I haven't beaten Rajan or like
Radon.
Regine or whatever they're
Radon.
called.
Gene.
Reagan.
Reagan, yeah.
Ronald Reagan. Yeah, the Reagan boss.
Star
So
Scourge
like
Reagan.
apparently, apparently like the map changes in that area once you beat them. So I have to do a full like search pattern.
It doesn't change a lot. No, the changes after you beat Radon is that because he's no longer holding the stars in place, a meteor was allowed to crash, and it crashes in Limgrave, and that opens up an underground area, which adds even more for you to do this exploration to, because there's 3 underground areas.
But look, I'll say this as somebody who hasn't played one of those Souls games or Elden Ring or anything, but from what I've seen, right? Like I've seen playthroughs, I've seen speedruns and all of that. From what I understand, like the game's filled with all of this stuff, but there really is just, a couple of good metas. Like for each type of playstyle, there's a lot of different playstyles. But for each of those playstyles, there is just the best thing that people know.
Yeah, but the thing is, you can make all of it work. It's just people get really up and tight about like metas and stuff in games to the point that they're like, oh, if you're not using this, it's dog shit. You can make anything in a Souls game work, even like walking canes in Bloodborne. You can make anything work as long as you stat properly and like obviously there's an optimal way of playing.
That's kind of the difference I'm talking about. Yeah, you can make anything work, but there is, for each particular way of doing things, the better way.
Yeah, that's just an argument between like playing games optimally and playing the way you want them to.
I think for like accessibility reasons, next time I try Elden Ring or next time I play Elden Ring, I'm just gonna fucking install one of those loot goblin map mods where it just shows the location of all the loot. Because I like physically cannot play the game otherwise because I've got like OCD and shit.
You have like completionist brain.
But here's the thing, right? Between the two of you, which do you think should take a more precedence in game design, narrative or mechanical?
It depends on the game. Depends on the type of game. If we're making an RPG, then I want more narrative than mechanics. But if we're playing like a shooter, then I absolutely want more mechanics than a narrative.
I'm like mechanics trained. I enjoy a good, well-designed mechanic and stuff. But narrative,
I can absolutely see that with how you play Morrowind.
I'm there for like the world in most games, especially in RPGs. I'm there for the world, the characters and stuff. That's why I play a lot of games.
The mechanics mean nothing if they're not informed by the narrative.
Yeah.
I like a good like mechanic, but like if it's like elevated to the next level with like a good narrative and shit, that'd be great and stuff. Which reminds me, like one of the mangas that I've been reading that I've been enjoying up to a certain point was like this manga about like a person like who goes to another world and just gets a skill like of walking and shit. And so like I wanted to like the adventure of it was like really interesting and shit. Up until the point where the fucking manga just started saying that slavery was good. Stuff, when it clearly wasn't.
Average isekai manga.
When will fucking when will manga like fucking have the balls to just say slavery was bad, right?
One
Because
Piece.
if you show like somebody in Qatar who's currently a slave or something, that fucking panel where they say slavery was actually good, they'd fucking slap the shit out of the guy who made that manga.
One Piece. One Piece is firmly anti-slavery, Anseridae. Luffy's an
if I ever get
like
time to watch
billion fucking pages.
Yes, so much time for him to say slavery is bad. So many opportunities to say cool things.
If I ever get the time to like watch like fucking One Piece,
don't watch it, read it. Read it, don't watch it.
Yeah. If I ever get the time to go through One Piece, I'll definitely like give that a shot.
It's definitely worth your time.
Like another 500 years to actually get through that goddamn book.
Look, it only took me a year.
You're saying it's worth it. I'm going to say that there are better things in life than One Piece.
It's literally the best manga ever made. So like,
that's
the best manga ever made was like fucking like Akumetsu or like Code Geass. Those are my favorites.
Well, I haven't read those, so I can't argue.
Good, but I never look. I didn't have access to a lot of mangas, and I didn't do the online reading bits. But I remember Code Geass being incredible for its time,
Mm-hmm.
like the anime, and
Yeah.
I still need to watch
and
it.
that Code Geass was always recommended alongside Death Note.
Mm-hmm.
People
Makes
seem
sense.
to have like Death Note feels like it's disappeared from the public discourse, and I kind of blame
No.
Netflix for that.
I don't think it's disappeared from public discourse because I see so many people still be like Light and Kira, Light and Elle are gay. They're so gay. I love
They
seeing
made
my
that
two
shitty
men.
Netflix remake, right?
The
Yep,
movie, yeah, the live action movie.
the Netflix
Because you know
movie.
it was supposed to end after like the first season, but then like the studio made them make a shitty season 2 or something. Lamau.
What, the
No, it was
original
only
anime?
the one movie.
What?
What are
The
you talking
original
about?
anime.
No, the original anime. No. The manga.
So in
It,
the manga, it is like split up in, spoilers for a 20-year-old fucking manga here, but at one point the main sort of L character,
yeah, L.
I don't even know whether to say antagonist or protagonist at this point,
He's
but
the antagonist because the protagonist is just the character you follow, not exactly the hero.
yeah, but so L does die in the manga as all that, but the changes they make, you see, the philosophy is that the manga had one particular ending, and then when they made it into the anime, they gave it a different ending because of the fact that they didn't want to just one for one recreate. And then there was
I
the Japanese live action movies, which then changed it once again
Mhm.
to
I
keep it
still see
fresh.
like video essays popping up about like the second ending being fucking terrible because
Yeah,
it
the anime
makes no
ending.
goddamn sense.
Well, the anime
Dude.
ending isn't terrible. It's just not as interesting as the original. Like as the first half, like the first 26 episodes.
Yeah.
I think Elle dies in episode 26 or 27. Those first like
Yeah.
27 episodes are like some of the best anime you can get. It's like some of the best
Yeah.
like drama thriller stuff you can get. And then afterwards, it's just kind of like wrapping up a lot of stuff, and it's kind of hastily like it's adding a lot of characters and then like removing a lot. And it's like
They
it's
start
just
pulling things
yeah,
out of their ass a little
like
quickly, and then you got a
near
character like Mello,
mellow, yeah, near and
who
mellow.
Mello, I think, is introduced. Like Mello and Nia are introduced as the sort of dualities of L. They represent different facets of what made L himself, but
Mhm.
because they don't encompass all of it, they're sort of lacking in their own.
And
But
they
I think
rarely interact.
the biggest problem is that those two characters are never fully properly fleshed out, and it's much more obvious with Mello, who, because he's the more aggressive type, gets killed off much faster.
He dies like 5 episodes after he's introduced, and he's only in like 2 of the episodes. Like he's barely there. I remember one scene though that really makes me laugh is the part where like his partner friend is like pulled over by the cops, and they all got him surrounded. He's like, "You're not gonna shoot me," and then they just light his fucking ass up. But yeah, I distinctly remember just like it was one of the first animes I ever saw, and I was just so bored after L died. I was like, oh, this is so fucking lame. I remember there was only a few specific parts that actually had me like interested, and then like the ending. I actually kind of liked the last episode. How like
It is good.
Ryuk is the one to like
They
write down
call that
Light's
the
name.
red box ending.
Yeah, it's a good ending. It's a good show. I mean, it's a good show overall. Like, especially the first 27 episodes, like the first 26 episodes or so.
You know,
Everything up
on
until
my
like
mind
Elle
and
dies.
stuff. So you know that manga Akumetsu? I'm pretty sure it's never gonna get animated ever because like no studios ever picked it up. But it's like Japanese Punisher, where the main character, spoilers by the way, apparently their only superpower is cloning, and it's like not even like they clone like uh during the thing. It's like they just have a cloning lab and they have like a shit ton of clones and stuff.
I like the art style.
This is a very
Yeah.
good art style.
Very stylized. I like it a lot.
This is because I think when you think of the most popular genre
It's
as
shonen.
a sort of it's shonen, and
Yeah.
I hate shonen. I get very quickly put off by shonen, but there's the sort of seinen that I like. Like Death Note is a seinen anime.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's not shonen, even though it was featured in Shonen Jump.
Yeah.
What's it called? Seinen?
Seinen,
Yeah,
Seinen.
Okay.
Like Berserk is a seinen. The
Oh
later
yeah,
times
I
of
like them.
the later parts of JoJo are seinen.
Mhm.
Like it's less like this is pretty perfect. There's less like, ooh, you know, the good guys are good, the bad guys are bad, and everything's sort of cartoony, and it's more like everything's fucking brutal. I mean,
Have
one
you
of my
seen
favorite
Monster?
seinens
Oh,
was
Hellsing.
Ooh.
Hellsing.
I still need to watch Hellsing.
God, Hellsing's so good.
Have you seen
Yeah.
Monster? Because I've heard people say that's good. As another seinen.
No,
I've seen a bit of it, but then
Lane.
I guess I like lost where I was when I was like watching it or something, or like I meant to like go back to it or something, or like I took a break from it and then I forgot where I was and stuff.
I love this
It
show.
ooh.
I do love the art style from I never finished it because
Mhm.
I was busy. I
So
was like the
this
end
is
of high
one
school
I'm
and stuff.
actually gonna recommend for Anseri, and one of my reasons is that it has one of my favorite things, right? So there's an aspect of computer networking and hacking and all of that in the show. And
Mhm.
she starts with like a simple computer, but over time she starts adding things and adding things until the entire
Yeah.
room is essentially just this interconnectedness of machinery.
Oh, that's just like my room stuff, Lamar.
Literally,
So I
Lane.
thought this would be a
My
good
room is more
recommendation.
yeah, my room is more computer than floor space right now, actually, and stuff. Like in order to like go to the bathroom, I have to like step over some like fucking cables and shit
Like
and
this.
things.
This
Yeah.
is a screen cap from the show. Like slowly but
Mhm.
surely, like it all starts building up, and this aesthetic of
Yeah.
like the machine taking over. It's
Yeah, I've got like a few
This is
computers
actually
in here. So-
this style of like techno like dystopian type of feel to it is actually like what I have in my head when I'm picturing like the ideas I have for my story and stuff. Like this type of stuff.
because look what it eventually like builds out to. Like it's and there's no natural light. It's all just the
You did
screens.
the blue
Just like
light.
my room.
See, it gets pretty messed up.
Yeah. Where I got to in Serial Experiments Lane before I stopped watching was around that point where her room is just that. I forget why I stopped watching. I think it's just because I got so busy. It's like, oh, I'll watch an episode later and just never got around to it. But I did
I
get
think
close to the
Jade would
end.
like.
I should
Oh
rewatch
yeah,
it.
Jade. I think you would enjoy the like Akumetsu manga and stuff if you like political thriller as well
Ooh,
and stuff.
yes.
Look at that! Look at that wide-eyed face. I guess that one image. Yeah, I like
I
the
do like
detail of it as well.
I really love the art style, and this is why I prefer seinen over shonen, because shonen seems to cartoonify a lot of things, whereas seinen still has this basis in like, you know,
Mm.
you could imagine a person's arm actually looking like this. Like maybe it's a bit taller and a bit like animated up, but a person could still do this aesthetic
Yeah.
I
in a
still, th-
live action
I still
setting.
think Jade, you
Well, look at
need
that
to read
action
Chainsaw
scene over
Man.
there with the guns there. The other one. Yeah, this is cool.
Is it gonna render?
I have no idea.
Apparently not.
Jade, I still think you need to read Chainsaw Man because I think Chainsaw Man is what you want. It disguises itself in the early parts as like a shonen where it's like, oh yeah, boobs and killing people and we're so cool and awesome, and then at the end
I
it's
like
like it delves into like the main character's like psychology of how fucking lonely and easily able to manipulate he is and stuff. I think you would like
Wasn't
it.
it made was it not made by the same person who did Paranoia Agent?
I don't know. I don't think he did that, but he did Fire Fist and he did
I
This
like
show
Goodbye
the
really
Eri.
fucked me up.
I don't think he did
I like the
this.
action
Yeah, he's not
of
Satoshi Kon.
Akumetsu and stuff, where it like goes like from one panel to the next. It's very, very like thrillery kind of. I think
Yeah, this is Satoshi
sort of.
Kon. He's the perfect
He
blue
did
in
something
Paprika.
else.
He did Paprika in Perfect Blue.
Oh, he does
Yeah,
fucked up shit.
he died in 2010.
This show fucked me up.
Yeah.
It was released under a different name as well. It wasn't just Paranoia Agent. It was Shonen Butt.
Mm.
But this,
I think I've seen this. I've seen Paranoia Agent and Paprika, I think. And maybe Perfect Blue and stuff.
Yeah.
there's just certain parts of Perfect Blue I'm aware of that I think would just stop me dead in my tracks watching it. If it is the one I'm thinking of. Let me pull this off for a moment.
But yeah, Tatsuki Fujimoto, the guy that
Yeah.
made Chainsaw Man. I think he's very similar to.
This shit'll fuck me up. This shit'll fuck me up. But if we really go to like perfect anime,
Oh,
there is only
Fulikuli.
there is only one perfect anime.
I love Fulikuli. It's so good. It's so good.
Have you seen this Anseridae?
I think I heard it mentioned to me once.
That's
This is
the
okay.
alternate, yeah. That's
So Furikuri is 6 episodes. That's it. It's 6 episodes. It's not 5,000 million episodes. It's not like 20 million fucking mangas to catch up on. It's 6 20-minute episodes, and each one of them is just amazing. There is not a single episode I can say that is not fucking spectacular. And the soundtrack is done by a band called The Pillows, which were inspired by an American band called The Pixies. This is the one show that I would recommend to every single person ever. The show,
Especially
We
because
could
it's so
watch
short,
it
you can watch it in the
on movie
afternoon.
night as well or something.
We could. It'd be a
Like
long
anime
night
night,
because it's
yeah.
6 episodes that are all like 25 minutes long. So
We could like split it into like chunks or something.
we could
Like 2
three,
episodes
you
a night.
say that,
3
Riley,
episodes.
but do you remember when I introduced you to this? You blitzed through it in one night because you wanted to see the next one.
Yeah.
Mm.
But like getting a bunch of people
Exactly.
together for that long could be an issue.
Oh, I could. I've also been meaning to catch up on some episodes of like what's it called? Fucking Invincible. I think right.
Oh,
I
I haven't
haven't
seen
seen
any of
season 3
Invincible.
yet.
I haven't seen
Uh,
Invincible at all. I feel like every
Uh,
single time a new season comes around, everyone's always talking about it. And I'm just like, I'm over here. Hi, y'all.
The one thing I hate about Invincible is the fucking audio balance is fucking terrible. It's
That
like
could just
whisper and
be a streaming
explosion.
service
I
thing.
can't hear shit.
That could
Like
be just
I've got like
Amazon.
yeah, it's probably just Amazon, but like I can't find any version of it that has anything where I could actually hear any of the dialogue at all. Like I have like pretty severe hearing loss that I was born with. You seen my like do I still have like the hearing loss charts last time I thingy? Let me see.
Nothing about this show makes me want to watch it.
These are really bad
Ye-
screenshots. These are all like
No, I've seen clips. I've
Oh.
seen like this is look, this is me being the old cynical person, but like nothing about the show makes me want to watch it. Like
yeah, I'd recommend reading like Akumetsu over watching Invincible, honestly, and stuff. But the problem is, I've already read Akumetsu, so I've got nothing
Invincible
to.
is for people who are fans of superheroes to begin with. Because it's a deconstruction of the superhero genre. That's who
you
it's
see,
for.
I'm going to have the hot take opinion here. I'm going to have the like unpopular opinion. I liked the Watchmen movie.
So
I
I
haven't seen
posted
it.
my hearing loss charts in the recording booth chat here. This is from 2022, so it's probably gotten worse since then. But like I was born with some pretty bad hearing loss, Lamau.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I think human speech it ranges between like that 1K and 2K range. So like where the very severe uh hearing loss like all the way like
Oh wow.
I almost can't hear you guys at all and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, so human speech is like the only thing here that's not severe hearing loss. Though, don't worry, if something is over 8K, you can hear it.
Yeah.
So if someone
it's like-
fires a gun next to your head, you'll be perfectly fine.
Mm-hmm. I can hear gunshots all the time, really. It's the only thing I hear, Lamau.
The hell I live in.
You hear more gunshots in the US than I do in Africa.
I don't think I hear any gunshots really.
Yeah, but didn't you also say you live in like the most white bread part of your?
Yeah, I live in the most fucking 99% white part of New Jersey.
White bread, New Jersey.
Yeah, white
and
bread, New
stuff,
Jersey,
Lamau?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the white suburb of New York.
where everyone stays in their home and locks the doors and doesn't go outside because they're terrified of seeing a black. And therefore, when everyone's inside, all the gun violence is through a pillow in the guest room.
You know what? Let's actually go to like actual good art though. I mean, when I think of like a really good artistic style in an anime that I've seen, Ergo Proxy.
Ooh. Oh, this kind of reminds me of
This is Evanescence.
I forgot what it was called, but there's this one anime where like they're like superheroes, but they're referred to as contractors because they have to do like a fucking OCD thing trigger to like use their superpowers. Except like the main character was like because his sister got eaten, like
That sucks for
he
him.
doesn't have to do it or something.
I think I know what you're talking about, but I
Because
can't
it's like
think of the
technically
name.
like he doesn't have a power; it's his sister's power or something. That is a good one. There's another one where it's like the super, like the hero has like fucking like eyes of God or some shit, and then it became like a plot about vampires. That fucking that like plot changing like that was like
Oh,
fucking
this
gave
one,
me
yes.
whiplash.
Yeah,
What is
Jade,
this?
this is Genkutsu. So like, Jade showed me this one time.
And so they did something very interesting here with the actual visuals. Is that you'll see these characters have very intricate like clothing and stuff. Those are like yeah, you'll see with his hair.
Like static
These
images that are like
they move when the characters move. So like they're almost look superimposed. It's very hard to
show
Like
without.
Chowder?
No, just pull up an image or video or something.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to mute a video, but let's see.
Mhm.
Um
Mhm.
let's see. Like how the clothing moves.
It's hard to.
All the characters. I think they
Hard to tell when it's so low quality too from just animedub.tv.
yeah.
Like you can
Oh,
tell,
so it is like Chowder. Kind of.
like when he
You can
moves,
see-
it's like a static image that they're moving in like around as it like it's like
Yeah,
a portal to the
That's
image.
that's how they did it in Chowder too, I think.
Yes. Oh yeah, I didn't
Somehow.
know you were saying Chowder. Yeah, they do it in Chowder. Yeah,
What did you think I was saying?
Shota or some shit or like Chowder or Powder.
What the fuck?
I don't know.
You're on a different plane of
The fucking
existence.
Chowder cartoon.
It was
from
buffering
Cartoon Network.
because of the Discord. It was Discord.
I don't know Chowder though.
Chowder's it's one of those Cartoon
Look
Network
up the clip
shows.
from Chowder.
It's not an
Imagine if
anime.
somebody
It's
did,
not an
like,
anime. It's a
fucking-
Cartoon Network show. The anime version.
We talk about anime, but okay.
No, it's
So look
the
up a
Chowder
clip
is the
from
same
this.
thing from the clothes.
I see.
Imagine,
I can see.
Yeah.
imagine if somebody did like a fucking crossover mashup thingy of like the fucking characters from that other show and this one, Lamau. It'd be funny.
Chowder was perfect.
I don't even like Chowder's like a blur to me because it's just fucking random shit, Lamau.
I This looks. I think I'm way beyond watching this, to be honest.
Of course you are.
Just pull up a
Yeah.
clip of them like moving and stuff, and you'll see what I mean.
Well,
Of like the
make
same
sure this
style as
it might
Chowder.
get us claimed even without the audio.
Oh, okay, fine. Yeah,
It is
this
Cartoon
sounds-
Network.
Yeah, I want to
Yeah,
shout
if
out
you
my
read-
favorite manga artist,
Mhm.
Araki, the JoJo guy.
Hell yeah!
Of course.
The
Of
JoJo
course.
guy. This is awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
This is awesome. This shit's so cool.
This is a masterpiece.
Yeah, this is like
stuff.
every fucking art he does is like this is just shit that's in his manga. Like this is just a fucking manga chapter, and it's like goddamn art piece.
If I had like this level of artistic skill, I would like fucking goddamn.
It's so good. It's so fucking
Yeah.
good. I love it. Love it. JoJo's so good. I should like compile some of my favorite panels from JoJo and like make a collection of like my favorite pieces of art that Araki's done. I'd have to like probably reread JoJo though, because I can't think of any specific panels and the specific chapters for them. I just remember specific parts. JoJo is just so good though.
What about this guy?
Oh, Junji Ito! Oh my god, Junji Ito is like my second favorite because I have several of his books on my shelf. Junji Ito, especially Uzumaki, has some of my favorite visuals in any manga
what I
ever.
just got reminded of? Like, just like my favorite dungeon crawling anime is like
Dungeon Meshi.
what is it called? Yeah, Dungeon Meshi. It's fucking awesome.
Dungeon Meshi's
Fucking
great.
art is so funny.
Oh my
and stuff.
god. Junji Ito is so fucking good. He's so good. The way he is like the best artist I think who's ever used like a negative space and like black and white art. Like just purely working in no color like at all. He's the best to do it. And I don't think a single fucking like anime adaptation of his has ever been able to capture anything remotely.
There's that Netflix
there.
adaptation.
Yeah, it's horrible. Don't scroll.
Yeah,
Don't scroll. It was also Adult Swim. Don't scroll too far down with Uzumaki because there are titties in Uzumaki, and if you scroll through the image, I won't be able to catch.
Save search off. Don't be a bitch.
No. Yeah, no. This section here, this what you're looking at right there on the screen. This is like after they try to leave the town and they come back, and it's like hundreds and thousands of years has passed, and like they've been building up like these row houses in a spiral around the center of the town, and it's like those buildings are full of everyone in the town, like spiraled and clumped together. It's so good. It's so good.
I very much do like the use of spirals in Junji Ito's work.
Well, this is specifically Uzumaki. Uzumaki means spiral. It's about spirals.
Fair play.
So this
I
is
love
about
his
spirals.
use of spirals, regardless.
He uses them really well. I really do recommend reading Uzumaki. It starts the entire book itself is a spiral. It's like a formula that every chapter is a new little like scenario. It's like a villain of the week type of thing, but it's supposed to be like they're in the spiral that of their lives. It's just they're constantly going over the same events as it gets more and more fucked up because you're drawing closer to the center. It's so good. It's so good.
Yeah, when I have the time, I'll watch the Netflix adaptation of Uzumaki.
It's Adult Swim, and also no, don't watch it. It's so bad. The first episode was really good, and then everything afterwards was like absolutely horrible. But
Okay,
yeah, Jade, that's
the first
chapter one.
episode.
This guy right here, that's chapter one.
Okay.
It's so good. Oh,
do
it's
love
it's
I've seen
peak.
the edit of this where it's like a picture of a cat, Lamau.
I know which one you're talking about. Another, yes, when they become snails.
This just makes me think of that the line from the Tool song. Spiral out.
Oh, spiral out,
Oh.
keep spiral. Yeah, I know which one you're talking about. Yeah. The other Junji Ito work I love so much is his adaptation of No Longer Human by Osamu Dazai. Osamu Dazai was the guy who originally wrote No Longer Human. Very classic Japanese book. But Junji Ito's adaptation of it is so good. It's so good. It's about like an artist who just has a miserable fucking life. and all of his lovers
Relatable.
die. That's when he joins the communist meeting and he sees them all as bugs because he's like going insane. But
Relatable.
No Longer Human is a story by Asuma Dazai. It's like an autobiography of his life, but fictionalized a bit. But also like kind of like
Relatable.
it's like not officially an autobiography of his life, but it's kind of about him. And he committed suicide. And this book is about him, Osuma Dazai.
That reminds me of that horror game that I need to finish making and stuff, Lamau.
Well, it's not about
one with
Osuma Dazai, but it's like about Osuma Dazai. It's hard to explain. I recommend reading No Longer Human and Uzumaki.
Yeah, if I ever have time, I'll probably read that and stuff.
Yeah, they're great. They're great. Plus, he's got a bunch of short stories too, like The Long Sleep. I think I mentioned to you guys on call, or I think it's called The Long Sleep, where a guy he goes to bed and every single time he sleeps, he lives a longer and longer life in his dreams.
Do they get more sleepy? Oh,
No,
every
like
time someone types Lamau, I imagine a French cat. There they are, Lamau. There he is.
Oh, this looks like a good one. This looks like a good
why
one.
are we just looking at like 2008 impact font memes?
Hey, I'm old. This is a good image, though. You have to admit.
Beret cat. Yeah.
Oh, French cat.
Yeah.
Meow.
Meow.
Cat propaganda.
Yeah, this is pro-France
Meow.
propaganda.
Pro-France propaganda.
Have you heard about France recently in current events? I think they're doing pretty well. This like last I heard, which was a while ago.
Yeah, they were positioning to nuke the world or something. I don't know. Do you know France's warning policy
Maybe
with their
thinking
nukes?
of French Canada. I was probably
No,
thinking
France
of
has been
French
pretty
Canada.
active. Macron has been pretty active in like being the new Charles de Gaulle. Charles de Gaulle.
Yeah.
You know, Charles de Gaulle is famous for like Europe without America. We don't need America. We rely on ourselves. Macron's kind of doing that now, where he's like, Europe doesn't need America. We can stand on our own. Fire up the war machines.
How hard would it be to learn French, by the way?
From
it
English?
depends.
Not that hard.
There is one thing that makes it harder.
What is it?
It's a gendered language.
Yeah.
Which means that in English, when you say chair, it's chair. But in French,
Mr. Chair?
It's like
they have different words for chair depending on if the chair is like spoken from masculine point, feminine point, or neutral point. There's three words for chair, technically.
I thought that romance gendered languages work as in like certain objects are just gendered a certain way.
Yes,
so you give them not that there's like multiple types of German's a gendered language?
German's a gendered language, yes.
Oh, I didn't know that. Because English isn't, so I thought that German wouldn't be because they're more
speaking about chair in like the feminine way and the masculine way. I was thinking about like, oh, it's like pronouns in like having your like pronouns in English, except now you can like whenever you refer to something, if you identify as a female, you can say, oh, it's like the girl chair or some shit or whatever. That'd be fun.
Girl dinner, girl chair, girl
boss, fucking slay, what's girl boss, gaslight,
gatekeeping, girl boss, gaslight, gatekeep. Yeah, that's the tips to success.
Yeah. Most European languages are gendered languages. English is kind of the outlier.
Interesting. I thought that it was like I thought it was a romance language thing.
I mean, if I could learn like fucking like so many programming languages, I'm pretty sure another spoken language wouldn't be too hard to pick up.
I've tried to learn 3 languages, but I gave up relatively quickly for all 3. Only 2 of them were spoken. Spanish, Japanese, and then American Sign Language, and all 3 of them I've been so bad at like actually
last time when I tried learning a bunch of languages, I think the mistake I made was I was trying to learn all of them at once. And stuff.
That is hard mode.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was looking at like lectures in Spanish, on Japanese, on fucking Chinese, and
Because
like
all of those
German,
have different word
French.
orders as well. Like
Yeah.
English is a SVO language, whereas I think Japanese is a VSO.
I got like kind of far-ish, maybe almost far enough to read some stuff in Japanese and stuff,
I was
and
able
a
to,
little bit of Spanish.
I was able to
too.
read the sounds of like the characters, but I wasn't able to like comprehend what I was reading. I would just be able to
Yeah,
know
it's
what
like a
sounds were
different
made.
vocabulary.
Yeah,
You need
I
to
knew
build
what
up
the
a new
sounds
set of
meant.
vocabulary.
And
Yeah.
if I like went through it in like an hour, I could probably remember them. But
Yeah,
I
same
knew hiragana and
probably.
katakana, but once we got the kanji, I was just completely tapped the fuck out.
There we go. Here's some examples.
Oh,
So like
yeah.
Japanese is a
Subject, object,
SOV
verb.
language, subject object word. Sam apples ate.
Yep.
And then SVO is Sam ate apples, which is like your European languages.
Actually, like I'm pretty sure
usual.
SOV is Russian SOV kind of or similar.
Mm,
Yeah, SOV is also how sign language is because you're like Sam apple. Wait, is it right? Sam apples they eat? I think that's or is it apples Sam they eat? No. It's Sam apples they eat is how you would say that in sign language.
Let me check here.
Yeah.
I just kind of forget that because I'm a little bit of an
Oh,
idiot.
Russian is SVO as well.
SVO?
Sam ate
Yeah.
apples.
Okay. Yeah,
Sam
Russian's
ate
weird because we
apples.
don't have the word is and stuff. I mean, we do technically, but it's like only used in like fucking academic papers and under very specific like circumstances and like nowhere else ever. Like like most Russians don't even know that we have the word is in our language. It's not a word we use.
This is
It's just
interesting
implied.
though. I didn't realize that SOV is more the standard than SVO.
That's because of Asia.
Yeah, a lot of
A lot
these
of Asian languages over there, and those are a lot of people speak those.
Persian, even Sanskrit, Sinhala, Nepali, Japanese, Burmese, Bengali.
Yeah, those are a lot of people there.
If I
Ancient
could
Greek,
pick up object-oriented programming,
Turkish.
I could easily do fucking SOV and stuff. That's not that hard to learn if I've already fucking done essentially that, Lamau.
I feel the hardest part of learning a language for me was just remembering the words. It wasn't even like the grammatical structure. I got that shit down, but it was like the
Yeah, just
words. Like I couldn't remember what the
remembering the
fuck like the words
vocabulary.
were. That's why I always struggled
Yeah,
in Spanish classes because I would
You
never
gotta
remember
do
the
this.
words.
You gotta do that same method I used for memorizing where like all the world's geography and shit. And you gotta do that, but for words, kind of.
it takes
I don't know if
practice
that's
and
how I learned.
repetition.
I don't think that's how I learned.
So
Is just to sit down and do it a million times. I
I
need
actually do
integration.
speak 2 languages, even though one of them is useless. And I'll tell you this much,
Wait,
right?
what's the third language you speak?
I said two.
Oh, I thought you said two. I thought you said three. I was like, what the fuck's the third one? I know which languages you speak though.
I only know 2 languages so far that I'm kind of fluent in,
English and
Oh,
not
Russian.
really?
including
What's the second
Lamau.
language?
My second language is English.
What's
My
the
first
first
language is
language?
Russian.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, with what I find at least, is that when I speak in English, I have an incredibly large vocabulary compared to the people around me, right?
Same.
So, I can speak in terms that they don't necessarily immediately understand.
Mhm.
But as soon as I switch over to my second language, the trash language, I speak on the same level as like a sixth grader.
Mhm.
Like I don't have the vocabulary to express myself, so I come across sounding very stupid. And it's kind of part of the reason why when somebody is communicating in a language that is not their home first language, I will give them more of the benefit of the doubt on many things
Mhm.
because of the fact that I realize what it's like for me to switch over to my second language.
Mhm.
Right. Right.
Like just everything I've said there, I wouldn't have been able to say in that same kind of way in my second language.
That's interesting. I never really thought about it like that, but it makes complete sense. Maybe it's because I don't actually speak two languages, so I wouldn't have
Most
had
of
that
the things I
experience.
say in English are
Makes
actually
perfect sense.
just kind of impossible to say in the same way as in Russian. Because remember, we don't have like is and stuff, and then we have like half hard letters and soft letters and shit, and like a few different like grammar rules and shit. So like we wouldn't word it the same thing, Lamau, the same way and stuff.
Interesting.
Hmm.
Yeah. I don't know. If I were to learn a language, I don't even know what I'd learn at this point. Is like
You should learn spider language so you could talk to spiders. Or Python. You could just learn Python.
well,
Lamau.
that's coding language. That's not like a spoken language. A human, I mean, not spoken.
Yeah.
Sorry, like a human language. That's not one that humans use to communicate. That's for
Yeah,
computers.
spider language is for spiders, Lamau.
But Russian looks to me like a language that also does it combines words.
Like German.
Yeah, essentially, I think this is a sentence basically translates to this sentence and stuff. Essentially, Lamau.
Because if I just put in,
Yeah, it's just this.
yeah, that's not really.
Yeah, nobody says that. Nobody fucking
I can see.
says that word. Fucking like, how would you pronounce that even? I'd fucking have Russian as like a first language. I can't even pronounce is in my own first language, Lamau.
This is how this
What?
is when it is how it
Вот
is.
как это бывает, когда это бывает.
Can you type
Как
in "it
это
is what it is"? It is what it is. Что то есть, то есть. Что то есть, то есть.
The fuck? That's not like that's like the weirdest. Like if I heard somebody say that, I'd be like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" Because that's like weird ass. Like you wouldn't say that in Russian or something.
The Russian alphabet just breaks my brain though. Like it absolutely ruins my brain.
It's pretty wild looking. Very much unlike Europe. It's most fucking weird because it looks so much like European like the rest of Europe's alphabets that it's just like it looks like if someone like turned the letters around and like spilt their alphabet spaghetti everywhere.
All of these are coming out much smaller than I would want.
If I were
There
to
we go.
learn Oh, hello there.
This
Yeah.
What the fuck?
is
So yeah, you got
wild
your
to me.
basics, like you got your A, your B, your C. They're in different places and they mean different things than in English. And then you have like your B with that looks like a fat guy in a hat. And then there's the other one where it's like his hat's on backwards and such.
Because he's cool.
Yeah.
What
I can
the
see
fuck is this?
I can see where the Greek comes
What?
in. Like the Greek, I could see where that comes in here.
I forgot what that is, honestly. It's been a while since I've had to read Russian.
Like
That looks very
that
Greek.
breaks me.
Look at that backwards R. The bottom there.
I like the backwards R. That's how you spell corn, the band.
The Russian.
That's
So
how you tell.
the Greek influence is probably because of the Orthodox Church, right?
Absolutely, it is. Yeah,
Yep, probably, most likely.
and because
Historical.
of Greek movement upward to like ancient colonization in like the Ukraine region. That's probably
Yeah.
also
I
part
like
of it
how
too.
one letter is literally just 3, and the other letter is like 4.
Well, those are Greek. That 4 there, that's a Greek letter.
Like this alphabet just breaks me.
That one above
it's
X. That one above X, I'm pretty sure is sigma, like the exact sigma letter.
No, X.
The one above X
That's
there. Is that not the sign for sigma in the Greek
yeah.
alphabet?
Um,
No, it's not. Sigma is like the sideways like M. It looks like a Google Mail photo. Which one's that? Is that phi?
That might be.
It's phi. No, it's
I
not
think
phi.
either.
No, it is phi. It is phi. Yeah, that's phi.
I was gonna say it's like either like fucking.
See, it's phi.
the only one that always like I can spot immediately is lambda.
That's because it's Half-Life.
Lambda. Right.
Yeah, it's Half-Life. The Greek alphabet's really cool looking.
Do you know how to write a lambda function in Python?
No.
What they do.
I think the Greek alphabet is like there's always like those there's those type of things in fiction that come in groups and stuff. Like you have your 7 deadly sins and they pop up in stories all the time. You have like I don't know, other like kind of schemes that you can theme around. I think whenever things are themed around like using names of the Greek letters of the alphabet or signs of it, I think that's pretty neat. I think it's pretty neat. Like
I like this alphabet.
yeah, it's the Elder Scrolls.
No, it's Daedric. It's specifically Daedric.
I know, but it's fucking.
You say Elder Scrolls like it's a fucking.
I didn't. I was saying it because of the game.
Yeah.
Like if you brought up fucking like the goddamn Elvish in Lord of the Rings, I'd just call it Lord of the Rings.
There's multiple languages in Lord of the Rings. Tolkien was literally a linguist.
Yeah, but Elvish is the.
I like how
nerdiest.
Daedric is written. Is that there's a circularity to it.
Mm-hmm. I like how you said you like the Daedric alphabet, but that's literally just a font, Lamau.
Well, yeah.
It's
still an alphabet though.
O for Oblivion, which
yeah.
is the Oblivion sign.
You know my favorite thing to do with the Omega sign, right?
What sound is that?
Me?
What?
I'm the sound. Why? I was singing the Morrowind theme. Oh, I see the little I saw the little thing you did there.
Yeah. That's my favorite emoji or emoticon
the two the Omega sign and then the
it's just Omega and Omega.
Yeah. It's very silly. Jade, can you teach me Afrikaans so I can learn Dutch? So then I can learn German.
I teach you...
How hard would it be to learn Afrikaans from English?
I guess I wouldn't rate it as like high difficulty, but if your intention is to cross over from Afrikaans to German, you're doing it wrong. Because Afrikaans and German are, but think about it, like Afrikaans and German are further separated than English and German. German has more influence on English than Afrikaans.
Then let's learn German together.
That's what I was trying to do for a long time. It's one of the languages I tried to learn.
Let's do it again. Because Germany's becoming my evacuation country.
Oh, didn't you hear the thing about Elon Musk and fucking his German Nazi party that he sponsored? And
so you want to go to where the AfD is becoming popular?
Yeah, but they're not becoming popular. They're already like, they're not. They lost. They did worse than they were expected to do. And the left is making a huge resurgence. It only made its resurgence like a month. It's like it started its resurgence a month before the election, but so kind of like
you decide you want to leave the country and you want to go to another country I can't get into.
It's the well, right then. Well, I mean, my first evacuation country is Canada. My first evacuation country is Canada because it's right there.
You mean the one that's going to be invaded first?
You mean the one that's going to invade us?
Hey, look on the right side, Jade. Once you learn programming, you like get really good at it. You could apply for a visa to Canada for like a work visa for like a programming job.
How about this?
You could, like, come
Here's the plan. Here's the plan. The podcast becomes so successful that we need to make it a company, and then I hire Jade as my employee, and then Jade comes over to America, or vice versa. Jade is the
but-
president,
Yeah.
and they hire me.
But have you seen my constitution? Have you seen my constitution?
canon?
The South African Constitution. Have you heard what I've spoken about?
I have
Yeah,
not
it's
read
based.
this. I have not read the South
Awesome.
African Constitution.
You with the one with LGBTQ rights in the Constitution.
Yeah, but I'm like in this scenario.
actually.
In this scenario, we're in like the rebuilding of America. America's already toppled, and we're in like
what we
we're in
need to
America
do-
too. In this scenario,
What we need to do is we need to have the podcast be super successful, then train everybody to do programming, then get like a bunch of army of robots type shit, then build a whole platform in the Pacific Ocean, declare independence and stuff.
from who?
That's
We're in
a
the Pacific
sovereign
Ocean.
nation. Then make like a like sky platform, so we have like fucking airspace control and shit. And then move to South Africa and like give all our funding to South Africa.
So
and
why
shit
was
like
the
that.
why was the Sky platform needed if we're just going to South Africa?
Oh, because it's really cool.
I could already see the Adam something video on this already. South Africa's constitution is the first in the world to prohibit the unfair discrimination on grounds of sexual orientation. It thereby guarantees equality for gay and lesbian people. Nice. Just as the section specifically mentions race and ethnicity in South Africa's past, sexual orientation included because of injustices and gays and lesbians of people suffer. Just 10 years ago, sex between the people of the same sex was a crime and public displays of affection were considered indecent. Gay people were harassed and blackmailed, frequently by police, and often denied employment and refused custody of their children after divorce. One of South Africa's most bizarre and notorious anti-gay laws was introduced after a police raid on a gay party in the suburb of Johannesburg in 1966. Amendments to the Immorality Act resulted in the infamous 3 men at a party clause, which criminalized any male who commits with another male person at a party, and any act which is calculated to stimulate sexual passion or give sexual gratification. A party was defined as any occasion where there are 2 more persons present. We're going to keep going.
There's a lot. This. But
Unlike children, gays, and
itself-
lesbians do not have a special section of the Bill of Rights dedicated to their rights. Rather, the irrelevant part of the Section 9 of the clause entitled state may not unfairly discriminate directly or indirectly against anyone or on the grounds of including race. Okay, that's that. Gays and lesbians protected. Jade, I know how based you are.
This is the important part.
Conscience. They go so deep into it. Conscience.
Just think. Not only race, not only sex and gender, both explicitly stated, not implied, both explicitly stated as separate things. Neither your gender nor your sex. Think about how fucking good our constitution is just for having this.
Yep. But if it
You
comes
want me to
down
go
to
to
it,
America where the
it comes-
Constitution gives me guns and takes away my right to do anything else ever?
well, the
You know what,
Constitution didn't do that. People did
I
that.
had
And the
a
thing is,
teacher, I think,
hold on a
that
second,
would
one second.
violate the Constitution in America on a regular basis as well. Like they did like they would violate the fucking Geneva Convention if they could as well. Because like one of the things we had was like class rules kind of in quotes that like the students made up and shit, and we all got together and like we like fucking said we want these rights and shit, and like I said like, oh, like because I fucking have this fucking learning disability and I'm dyslexic, I need to do spell checking on my fucking 3DS and stuff to like whenever I'm writing and stuff, right? So yeah. So like we tried to enshrine those rights into our class rules, and so it was like only rights. But then the fucking teacher fucking tried to twist the language in like a way to like find legal loopholes, kind of illegal loopholes, in order to like fucking take things away from people and shit. Because like they're a greedy bitch and stuff. They've tried like on multiple occasions stealing property from other students and shit, motherfuckers. Goddamn. That's like actually illegal.
It is wild over there in the US. But I mean, as far as I understand it, a lot of places in the US, including now some of your biggest politicians, take the Constitution as more of a,
Yeah, like
guideline
like
of.
they see something like a right guaranteed to American citizens, and then like, I wonder how we could weaponize this to take away rights and stuff. Say
Yeah.
like, yeah,
Like
exactly.
the big example is free speech, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have free speech right up until somebody says, like, hey, maybe perhaps black people should be equal. And then
Yeah,
suddenly
like,
it's like, no, you can't free speech. Like,
yeah. So basically, like, we had one rule where it's like you're like allowed to do this thing, right? And then the teacher's like, hey, you can't do that thing because the fucking thing says you're allowed to do this thing, but only in like. And then they say they add like an extra like Animal Farm. They say, but only if you do X or something. It's like, no, that's not what we put, motherfucker. That's not the they were fucking actually doing like fucking reenacting Animal Farm and shit.
it's pretty
Goddamn.
bad.
Yeah.
It is pretty bad. We've gone for a long one this
Yeah.
session.
An hour and 40. Yeah.
Motherfuckers, goddamn.
Yeah, that's a session and a half.
Yeah.
And Sarah, how'd you
So-
like it on the podcast?
It's pretty good. It's a pretty short session and stuff.
Pretty short. This is one of
We're
our
gonna switch
longest
to programming
ones.
soon, I guess. Yeah. Okay.
Well, I have to edit this and also do the thumbnail.
Yeah. Well, have
Um,
fun editing. We're gonna go, I think, into Pub Lounge now and do some programming.
Yes,
stuff.
but before we do that, we need to say our goodbyes and everything.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Alright.
and Jade, do you have anything to say?
Constitution.
Yeah, stop breaking the goddamn Constitution. Like, our fucking president keeps fucking violating the goddamn Constitution.
Rewrite your goddamn constitution.
Yeah.
Enshrine LGBT rights.
Yeah.
Explicitly mention gender and sex.
Don't worry, when the country explodes, we'll probably get a new constitution when the new republic of the East Coast and the Pacific states of America and
The
stuff pop up.
NCR will rise.
I would like to add something. They should fucking actually uphold and enforce rule of law and stuff, and fucking like do the thing. The fucking like government should do its fucking job and shit as well. Like for real.
I hope when the country explodes,
polls to decide whether or not the president decides to keep his job.
Unironically based. The only issue with that is logistics.
Everybody.
All right. Goodbye, everyone. Hope you all had a good podcast episode. Goodbye.
Bye bye.